want, what you want. Come on. What you want, what you want. Come.
Hi guys, Aceface back with another video for you. I've got a Batrep today. We are going to be playing on this board, my new ball from Frontline Gaming, and I've got some awesome bits of terrain. Check out the links below to see where I've got them from, and get over and get yourself some of this wicked terrain. And I've got some of these spires as well and some Tyranid bits. We've very much got a Tyranid infestation on this Imperial planet, and the Orks have shown up as well, so it's going to be a fun game. So let's go through the armies. First of all, I'm going to have a look at the Orks. This army is for sale. My buddy's selling them, so if you're interested, give me a shout, give me a message, and we'll see what we can do. See if we can hook you up with this beautiful army. So it's 18-15 points, and what we've got. So I've got 2 units of 30 boys. One are shooter boys, and I've got 2 big shooters. The others over there are chopper boys, and they've got 2 big shooters in as well. We've got 2 battle wagons. One is, the blue one is a heavy support, and that one is got knobs inside. They're all power claw knobs. And then we've got a troop transport over on the yellow, and that one has got 5 chopper knobs, and that's on there. They've both got, well, one's got a zap gun, the other's got a lobber, and they've got a big shooter each. We've got a death red down here, and we've got a truck as a dedicated transport as well. We've got Gazskull, and we've got a war boss in mega armor. He is rocking out over here in this squad, and we've got 2 units of Deathcopters with rockets. We've got a Dakka jet with 3 super shooters in reserve, and I think, yep, that. Oh, and we've also got a Pain Boy as well in there as a second HQ slot. Obviously, Gazskull is the warlord, and that is going to be 1850 points of Orks. So have a look at my Tyranids. So I have started with only Mananthrope on the board because everything else is in reserve. I rolled the strategic objective, which allows me to keep 3 units in reserve, and everything else is kind of still to come in anyway. So I've still got to do my infiltrating, and you'll see that at the on the first turn. But basically, I've gone for a bit of a fun list today. I got a bit of stick when I played Orks before, because I said it was a non-competitive list and I had 2 Demacarons and 2 Flyrants. So hopefully today I might get a bit more kudos for this not being such a competitive list. So I've gone for Old One Eye as my warlord, beautifully painted by Claytons. Check the link below, go and check out Claytons stuff. If you're interested in something, he also does commissions for top end painting, so check him out. But I've got Old One Eye leading the army, and then I've got Death Leaper as my second HQ. Then I have 2 units of Stealers, both have got a Broodlord in each unit. Then I've got 2 Crushing Claw standard Carnifexes, and I have a 3rd Carnifex. This one is a Dakka Carnifex with the Twin Link Devourers, and then 2 Crusher Carnifexes. So the 2 Crusher Carnifexes and our One Eye are travelling in the Tyranids, all just standard Death Spitters, and then the 3 Carnifexes will be infiltrating, along with obviously the Stealers and Death Leaper. So I should be able to get up quite quickly. It's going to be an interesting game. I've got a lot of hard hitting units, but the Orks have got the numbers and they've got a lot of claws and a lot of stuff to really hurt my army, so it should be very, very interesting. We are playing Big Guns Never Tire. We've got 3 objectives. One's down here by the Malifaux, one is in the centre by this ruin, and then just scanning over to the far side, we have one in this bit of terrain in these ruins down here by the vat of oozy goo from the Tyranid infestation. We are playing long ways up the board. The Orks are already deployed all along the furthest line and get forward in typical Orky style, and all there is left to do now is to see whether you want to steal the initiative. Do you want to steal the initiative? See if you go first?
Yes.
Go for it then. So let's see, go for it. 3, so no, and then it goes into Tyranids turn 1. Okay, so after deployment, after the infiltrators, I did kind of roll before I infiltrated, but it's not going to make any difference. So the this group over here, so we've got Death Leaper up in the ruins, lurking behind there. The Broodlord and the first unit of Steelers is there, with the 2 Carnifexes with the claws, they're there. As we said, Malifaux back here on the objective. Back here we've got the Dakar Fex along with the 2nd unit of Steelers hiding behind this bit of terrain there. So we're quite close up, but it's going to be a bit daunting because there's still a lot of shooting in this Orks even though they can't shoot, so we'll have to see as we go into Tyranid turn 1. So end of turn 1 for Tyranids, very quick turn, not a lot happened. The Steelers moved into the ruins next to where Death Leaper is, everything else kind of adjusted around. The Carnifex got up as far as he could because he's the only shooting I've got, so he tried to get a little bit closer. In the psychic phase I got Dominion off on both the Broodlords, and then in the shooting phase the Carnifex unloaded his Devourers into this unit of boys at the front, did really well, killed 10, made none of his saves. So they went down, they held, no issues at all there, and that is it as we go into Orks turn 1. So bottom of Orks turn 1, decent turn for the Orks. They continued their advance up. The Deathcopters flew up to here. Everything else I said slowly kind of moved forward. Then in the shooting phase, the shooter boys shot all their shooting at the Dakar Carnifex that was there. Took 3 out of his 4 wounds off. Then both the wagons shot him as well. He managed to survive through them. And then the Deathcopters also shot at him, but he ran out of luck at that point. We decided, by the way, just as a sort of side note, that these sort of capillary towers will all have a 5-up 2-inch save for spore clouds. So I had a bit of a save on the Carnifex, but he made one of his 2 saves, but one got through, and that was his last wound. So he went down for first blood, but it's all to play for as we go into Tyranid turn 2. Okay, so I'm going to roll for my reserves. So I've got the 2 Crusher fixes, and they're both coming in, and Old One Eye is coming in as well. So end of Tyranid turn 2, in came the Tyrannocytes, dropped there and there. They unloaded the Crush effects, dropped in here close to the objective and behind the Dread. The other one dropped in the middle into where his pal got caned by the Ork boys in turn 1, and the Warlord, Old One Eye, jumped down here, sort of in the middle, just to oversee what's going on. The rest of the turn, basically everything moved up. We kind of come round here, and in these ruins, the Steelers made their advance on the boys that are coming up. So the Broodlords are taking a oversight of the boys as they advance. The Death Leaper just stayed where he was, and this Carnifex kind of moved around just to sit on that objective, being a heavy support. The Carnifex here just kind of moved closer to the Deathcopters. So in the shooting phase, the instinctive fire from the Tyranids didn't really do anything. I just had Death Spitters. If I had Barb Stranglers, it might have been horrific, but the Death Spitters didn't do that much. And then we just did a few more runs, so the Steelers got a bit closer. And then in the assault phase, this Carnifex charged in on the Deathcopters. The Steelers were thinking about it, but they held firm, just thinking that probably the Fex would do it on his own, and he did. So the Deathcopters took 1 wound on when he came in on Overwatch, but then in combat, as much as they hit really well, obviously couldn't really do anything against him at all. And then when he hit back with his claws, he instant deathed all 3 of them, and he's consolidated behind his capillary tower as he knows instinctively that the power claws are on the horizon. So it's going to be an absolute bloodbath, as the Tyranids and the Orks pretty much are going to smash in the centre here in the next turn. So it's going to be quite interesting as we go into Ork turn 2. So rolling to see whether the Dakajet comes in, and again, let's try that again, shall we? And the Dakajet doesn't come in. So end of turn 2 for the Orks. Absolutely brutal turn. Loads of casualties on both sides. So really quickly, basically the boys that were here charged into the Crusher Fex. They really surrounded him, so he got bag loads of attacks, but he hit terribly badly, and just went down to sheer weight of attacks from the boys, without actually doing too much damage, which was a bit of a surprise. But there you go, that just shows the strength of boys when they're charging in mass. Over here, the Death Dread and the Nobs that had come out of that battle wagon, and the War Boss, who separated from the boys, all charged the Crusher Fex that was here. A lot of them got in base contact. I tried to spread out the attacks, just to see if I could take a lot of them out. I did do pretty well. Sent the War Boss packing instant death. I penetrated the Death Dread, but failed to blow it up, which was real killer. And then I took a couple of the Nobs out, but when they attacked back, combination of the Death Dread and the Nobs were just too much. Too many attacks, hitting on freeze, and just I couldn't weather the storm. So down went the Crusher Fex there. So 2 Crusher Fex down, not looking great. Over here though, it's quite a different story. The boys with Gazcol that managed to get the charge on the Steelers were absolutely obliterated in combat, so much further, it knocked them right back, so they struggled to actually get any attacks in on them. They took a couple of Steelers down, but the Steelers absolutely ripped them to shreds. Obviously they're standing firm there with Gazcol at the back, they're not going anywhere, and it could get a bit nasty there. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath, all in all. And then over here, And these knobs, these ones are the ones that just have big choppers. They were all really unlucky because they really should have killed this Vex, but he actually lives on one. He didn't do much damage back, but you know, he's still in there with one. He's going to probably be in trouble next turn. But all in all, a really good turn for the Orks. Not a great turn for the Tyranids, but we've still got a lot left, and these Stealers should be able to really wipe out these boys. So it's going to be a real touch and go turn. I'm still sitting on the 2 objectives down here. The Orks have got 1, they've got first blood, but all to play for as we go into Tyranid turn 3. So bottom of the Tyranid turn 3, and the bloodbath continues. So just nothing but combat really, to be fair. The Dune Sealers that were here ran into the unit of boys, pretty much killed them off. There are a couple of stragglers, well there's 4 stragglers in there, as well as the knob, but they obviously being the war, they held tight. Over here, our one-eye rushed in to try and help his Carnifex that was down to just 1 wound. Really fluffed, to be fair. He didn't get 1 single hit or wound, and his brother didn't do much better. They did take out a couple, obviously just the other Carnifex doing all the damage, but when the knobs strike back, they directed all their hits on the other Carnifex and killed him off. One Eye still on full strength, should hopefully be able to deal with him next turn, but we'll have to wait and see. Over here, the pods kind of moved around, tried to take some blasts on things, took a couple of hull points off the truck, took a wound off the knobs there. The big combat over the far side, which I'll take you round to, is absolutely brutal. The terrain is really helping out the Tyranids, which is just slowing the Orks down. Tyranids took down loads and loads of boys, but they did strike back and also took out 6 of the Tyranids, leaving just 1 Stealer and the Broodlord still left. Ghazghkull really hasn't featured in combat yet, so it's looking pretty grim for the Broodlord and his pal. The only advantage is now we're outside the wild, we can see whether we can hit them hard enough before they get a chance to pretty much butcher us, but we'll have to wait and see. Gonna need a lot of rending in the next round. Other than that, that's about it. Obviously just sort of hovering around the objectives where I need to. It looks like the objective over the far side is going to be a lost cause, but we'll have to wait and see as we go into Orks turn 3. So end of turn 3 for the Orks, decent turn, kind of went both ways, absolute bloodbath. The Gene Stealers down here overran easily the Orks, they killed them off in combat, no problem at all. Over here, One Eye munched through another couple of knobs. They couldn't do anything back to hurt him, but they managed to roll on their leadership, so they're staying put. So 1 little knob left against One Eye, so he should eat him for breakfast next turn. Okay, and then over on the far side, the inevitable. Eventually, the Stealers managed to hold him out for 3 turns of combat. But I just thought, just for cinematic value, the Broodlord stepped up, tried to challenge Ghazghkull. In the old day, he would have hypnotised him and probably killed him off, but nowadays, Ghazghkull wasn't having any of it. Stopped forward, the Broodlord swang, couldn't do anything really, no rends. Actually got 1 rend, but weren't enough to even really touch him. His Invon saved him. And then he chomped back, killed the Broodlord easily, and overkilled into the remaining Stealer. So they march on. It's just going to be a dependent now whether they can get further enough through around the back of this to actually get to that objective, but we'll have to wait and see. The Decajet came on, pumped its shots into the Carnifex there, took 1 wound off, but he's still pretty good there. The Tyrannosaurus at the far side, the Death Dread munched him in combat, so he went down, and they're sitting quite safe on that objective. The tanks and vehicles just kind of they kind of took shots at bits and pieces, didn't do much, but they were kind of there and thereabouts. And the old copters over there just causing a nuisance in the corner. But all to play for as we go into Tyranid turn 4. So end of turn 4 for the Tyranids, really quick turn, nothing much happened. The Steelers just try to run as quickly as they could and make an attempt to see if they can get to that objective. I don't think it's possible in turn 4 now. Maybe it goes on to turn 7, but I can't see that happening. So we'll just have to see. Maybe if they get onto the Dreadnought they can slingshot into the objective, but again unlikely, but they might as well have a go. I finished off the last of the knobs there, and he's consolidated to just try and help out this last struggle with this objective that the game's probably going to come down to. The Death Leaper came down onto that objective as well. Carnifex kind of moved a little bit closer, just trying to put himself as a bit of a speed bump. We took out the truck with the Tyrannids, just mass shooting took him out. And that is pretty much it as we go into turn 4 for the Orks. So end of turn 4. Yeah, end of turn 4 for the Orks. Doing everything they can. It might be a little too late. So they didn't do too bad. The boys are just smashing through this ruins to try and get to that objective. Gazko has had to separate away from him, being slow, but you know he's given them the best opportunity, killing all those Gene Stealers as they try and march through to see if they can get to that objective. Dakajet had a go at the Carnifex, didn't do anything. The rest of the battle wagons just sort of shimmied to try and block the Stealers from getting close. Had a few shots at one eye, didn't do anything there at all. He does seem to be very resilient. He's definitely living up to his name for last ability, even if he's not been awesome in combat. And that's pretty much it. So as we go into turn 5 for the Tyranids, it is all to play for. So end of turn 5 for the Tyranids. Good turn for me. I one-eyes dashed towards, got onto that objective. The Carnifex and Death Leaper assaulted the boys that had separated from Gazko. Combination of the two of them cut the boys down. They did manage to escape from combat without getting run down. How that happened I will never know, but they actually managed to run. They've run right for that, so they're going to struggle now to regroup because they've lost half their size. But and then the Death Leaper and the Carnifex are trying to provide a bit of a speed bump for Gazko, as he's just going to go munching through them, but he's going to have to pick one at a time, which hopefully will be enough to secure the game. Over there, the Steelers, they didn't really do anything. They tried their best to take out the wagons, but it wasn't going to happen. No, they're unscratched. The Tyrannids absolutely did awesome that turn. They rolled really hot, even with the Copters jinking, they took them out, which was really good to see. And that's pretty much it. So at the moment it's down to Tyranids to lose. It's going to be quite hard for the Orks to do anything, but we'll have to wait and see as we go into Orks turn 5 and potentially the last turn of the game. So end of turn 5, and we've just rolled it. The game has ended. And it has been a very close run victory for the Tyranids. So just to wrap up the last turn, not massive amounts happened. The battle wagon did an awesome job at dealing with the Steelers, leaving just the Broodlord there. They rolled hot severely. Down here, the boys didn't rally, they kept running back. So it pretty much left Gazko with the option of what to do. He decided that he'd had enough of Carnifexes for one day, charged in, and even though he rolled particularly bad, he still chopped down the last Carnifex to pretty much see off. I think how many has he seen off in all? They've seen off 5 Carnifexes, the Orks, today, leaving just our one eye unscratched, but he chopped him down and left staring at Death Leaper, who was the second speed bump about to be munched by Gazko. So, you know, Gazko was a beast all game. He absolutely tanked anything, and he if the game went on, he would have slowly but surely just got to that objective and killed anything in his way. He was untouched. The Dakajet did manage to get a bead on the Malanthrope. If he'd rolled ridiculously hot, he could have taken him off that objective. But with his save and ruins, he was unlikely to, and the Malanthrope has a quiet game sitting on the objective the whole time. So in the end, it came down to 2 objectives to me, 1 objective to the Orks, plus they got First Blood. and you know, so that was it in all. But absolutely awesome game, very close, fun little list, both fun lists, not very competitive, but absolutely viciously fun to play Ultra Combat. So thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. See you again soon. Bye for now.